I learned a while ago, when I first got to Congress, I thought, man, people definitely study what they're talking about here. Then I got here and I realized that a lot of my colleagues don't even read the bills that they are commenting on. But for anyone who's curious, it's right here at the desk. We're making lots of statements that have nothing to do with the legislation. And frankly, if I made comments that very publicly demonstrated that I didn't read the legislation I was discussing, I'd be embarrassed. But that is an aside.
It's an aside. I appreciate it. Ben, what did you think?
Oh, that brilliant sister. She just tapped into the essence of everything we're talking about right now. The confidence of their mediocrity, man. Like these fools get into Washington, D.C. and they're like, oh, we're rich, we're conservative, we're white men. All we have to do is conjure up anger like Lindsey Graham did on behalf of Brett Kavanaugh, who conjured up anger on behalf of trying to protect himself from his history.
Last night, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled on a new abortion law in the state of Texas. That decision came down, by the way, 5-4. That's the exact split that decided Roe v. Wade almost 50 years ago. So it's good enough to have meaning. This time, the court upheld a Texas law that effectively bans abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected. Typically, that's about 6 weeks into a pregnancy. Now, this new law does not allow the government of Texas to enforce the ban, so no one's going to jail over abortion. Instead, the new law lets citizens sue clinics that commit illegal abortions. So no matter how you feel about abortion, it's kind of hard to argue this is an especially radical law. Intentionally stopping a person's heart from beating is the definition of killing. Government has a right to regulate that. In fact, deciding when it's okay to kill a person is, on the most basic level, the whole reason to have laws in the first place. So whether it's right or wrong, or whether you like it or not, it's not a crazy statute.
So we sort of crossed over. Basically, pick a random entitled rich white guy and he doesn't give a damn about what happens to all these women. But in this particular case, there's a few reasons I chose him as my garbage person. Here's the most shallow. It wasn't 5-4 that Roe v. Wade was decided. It was 7-2. It takes 3 seconds of research to know that, and I'm sure that he does.
When they talk about raising taxes on the wealthy people, a majority of people in this country are okay with that. So
because they're not wealthy. Most people aren't
that
wealthy.
Is not true. You think the majority of the country want their taxes raised? That is called socialism.
I agree.
And that is not a successful economy. The reason why we have a free market capitalist economy. That's not what we're working towards here. Sooner or later, someone's gonna have to work for a living, earn that money, and be willing to give up 7 of every $10 that they earn. And when the American people are forced to look at this holistically, that is not popular.
It's sad when you are giving more money to the government than you are putting in your bank account.
Not gonna last.
Sad.
Yeah, and it's not at all remotely what Joe Biden is actually talking about. And oh, by the way, America did actually have that for the wealthiest earners for literally decades, and our economy exploded in leaps and bounds in growth, but we're gonna pretend that nothing of that happened. You need to look holistically. I want more lessons about how to look at things holistically from a guy who couldn't follow Steve Ducey's incredibly basic point that he was making.